This is the RSLS, the Rose Springs Literary Society Hall. It was officially built in 1896. I could go you a little further. Why is it called RSLS instead of Rescue? Because Rescue came about in 1895. The hall came about in 1896. Well, paperwork, which the Historical Society has in their possession, shows that the starting of this building was about 1894, maybe a little earlier, and the meetings took place at the Rose Springs School, which is just over the hill from here.
Okay, thank you.
There are other doors, but this is the front entrance. You can go straight into the bottom meeting room. Upstairs here, you take a look if you like upstairs. It's closed off for safety reasons. Fire department asked us to use the new, safer second entrance. This is narrow, steep, and no lights.
Is that how we spent 2 hours?
Right now we're not using it because we have a lot of work to do to make it fire safe. And you'll see it upstairs when we get there. My biggest problem, by the way, is the stairs. I don't climb stairs with them. My name is Francis Carpenter. I'm the historian for the Rescue Historical Society. And now my other little pitch. I'm born and raised and lived all my life about a quarter mile from here. Well, I didn't live all my life here. I moved up the road a mile.
So you know what's been going on.
I am home with, not necessarily up here, but with outside the building. I am home, yes. Pardon?
We danced up here once.
Yes, this was designed.
This was after.
Oh, you did dance here?
In 80, we moved up here in 84.
Yeah,
so.
And you got up here?
Yeah.
What you see is what you got. You have a large dance floor, hall, and this is described as a live floor. We used to like to say there's one in Placerville, one in Georgetown, and one in Rescue. I don't think you ought to quote me on that. That's a little strong. But what happens, this floor is a spring floor. It's got life to it. There's a dance called the bunny hop. Some of you may be old enough to remember the bunny hop. Put about 20 people together, you know, stand behind one another, hold your hand on the person in front of you's waist, and then you hop forward, backward, legs out. Well, when you start that hopping forward and backward, see these rods? They give about 4 to 6 inches, maybe a little more in the old days, and the floor would give. Wasn't solid. When you came down, you didn't come down on a solid floor. You came down on the spring floor. It's just, I'm told, this the best thing to dance on there ever was.
Is this floor Doug fir?
Is this floor what?
What's the floor made of? Douglas fir?
I think this is fir, yeah. And my belief is this is floor number 2, according to what the reading I get of this.
Well, they dance till 1 or 2 in the morning.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to hear that? I'll chase another one for you. The little deal about dances. Dances normally last till what? 2 o'clock? Sometimes 1, but 2 o'clock here, I think. 2 o'clock, the band says, it's the last dance we're through. You pass the hat, and first time, pretty good contribution. You showed it to the band.
Another hour.
They played another hour. Hours up, you did it again. Okay, but about 3 or so, the band said, no, it's over. Come on, we got to play some more. You know, we're just getting started. and the band leader said, no. We live in Elk Grove and we have cows to milk at 5. Bye. And that's a true story. I've heard that a couple of times.
But where else did they go to dance besides here?
Where else?
Yeah.
Had no place till the community center was built.
But the people from here would go over to South County, right?
Yeah.
To a Grange Hall, something for dancing?
Okay. A quick little personal story. My father's name is down there. It's real high. You have to have a ladder, and I can't find it. His name was Merritt. It says Merritt Carpenter, and I think Jim Fisk left the dance to go to a dance at Pilot Hill. You follow me? I know they packed up and went to dance at Grange Hall. My dad wasn't married, he was a young guy, and so anyway, they went over that. But that's right. They had, my dad told me, a habit or a custom of you know, Pilot Hill and I don't know how many.
Probably Clarksville.
Pardon?
Clarksville in the day, Railroad House.
Clarksville, Placerville always had a dance or two going. And I don't know what shingle had, but like you said, and there were a number of places. Dad always said, you could always find more than one place to dance. The biggest problem they had, I'm referring to the 1920s now, biggest problem they had was getting there. If it's winter and raining, Dry Creek, as we know it here on Lotus Road, you know, Green Valley and Lotus Road,
Not so dry.
didn't have a bridge at one time, no bridge.
How was it flat out here then?
Wings flat?
Yeah.
Well, I never heard him say much about that. Of course, we had the toll road, you know, wings flat from the wing house, the original wing house, down to this end, this side of the school, there's the toll road. We have enough documentation on that to prove it, and some pictures that we like fit in. Now, I have a boarded home, and I'm still looking at C.J. Smith, who owns the big house on the right, the Smith McDonald Litton Ranch. He got Bill Ty and I together one day, and we went down there and looked in the creek, and there's a bunch of timber sticking out. So, by the way, when I was a kid, a little bit of the original toll road still existed across from Morley Wings, but no documentation, I just say it did. But anyway, we look at these boards down there and we fool with them, scratch them a little bit. They're oak. So, opinion, they're the toll road. Well, CJ got one of them out later on. I have one up at the house, about, I don't know, probably short 6 foot, oak. And we're told that the toll road was laid oak down on a you know, bed of gravel. It wasn't a gravel road. It was basically all 2x6, 2x8, whatever.
There was a word for those plank roads. I forget, but yeah.
Yeah.
They just didn't last very long.
Yeah, we have some pictures of the wing place with a couple of buildings across the road. It's rather plain description of what happened, where it was across the road, and one thing and another, you know. It went right past the school there, followed Green Valley Road from Wings to the end of the flat this way. So anyway, I don't know how they handle that toll road in the nighttime. What there is in existence in the possession of the Rescue Historical Society is a little thing called Pearl's Notes. Tells a lot of things that happened here. And then there was a time capsule found a few years ago under the back corner right there. It just lists the name of the people involved and that they built it, and from them come some of the dates stating when the first meetings were held. They were held at Rose Springs School. There's no place else, the closest public building. And that was found by luck, though.
Can you show us where it was? Can you point to the spot where it was?
Probably about here. What there is a fair-sized stone pillar under the corner, and it's up right against the pillar. And what happened is when the contractor got ready to put these 2 rooms on, they were hand digging, took out the old building, hand digging, and I think there were 3 laborers there working, and one of them found it in a glass bottle. And luckily he didn't break the bottle, number 1, and number 2, he was a smart enough kid to go catch one of the firemen, and the firemen recognized they had something, and they called me. I came down, looked at it, and we took it out. And it was a surprising little piece of writing, you know.
When was this found?
Put in here in about I don't know, shortly after this was. I don't like to get caught on dates on that, but I don't know, 86, 87. But you go right straight down where I'm standing, to the ground, down into the ground a little bit, and that's where he dug it up. Had a few rock around it, semi-protected, but nobody knew about it. Nobody. Rescue did not exist when this was started. And the paperwork from the time capsule and other things suggests that there was no buildings here of any kind. They met in the Rose Springs School. Well, Rose Springs School, for all intents and purposes, is North Shingle in Green Valley. It's real close to there. There was a school there, the cemetery there, and while they never had a post office, Rose Springs is a known location. In fact, you go downstairs and look at the books there on the table in front, you'll find a book on Rose Springs. We know a lot of the history. Pictures are a little shy, but we know a lot of history. The the roof is here, the place is sprinkled, the next thing would be electrical, and then you would need to finish up in here. And you say, well, you're getting pretty close to making the fire marshal happy. Not quite. Your walls are not fireproof. You want to tear down one of them walls, I just say this, because we'll look at it in a few minutes. I'll tell you about it now. All over on these walls are people's names, history, and lots of it. So, of course, I think they can treat the walls, they can coat them and stuff, and save it. But the son of, hey, you're asking me something I don't know.
Okay.
There were about, what were there, about 3 or 4 Skinners. You still have Mike Skinner, which owns, you know, the guy with the vineyard down by the grammar school here, and who owns the old original Skinner winery right now.
Yes.
And by the way, there is a Skinner cemetery just across the street on the hill.
Yeah.
And I have all this at home, but sometimes I don't remember good. Okay. This George Skinner, here's Morley Wing, Folsom, California, 1934. Now let me tell you a little story. Wings live where Wings live, but the mailing address was Folsom.
Yeah.
We didn't get that changed till many, many years later.
Really?
Well, Star Route Folsom. Star Route box, probably about 35 at Wings, 38 at Wings. Star Route, box 38, Folsom. Oh, you want to, I got some pictures in the local paper where the people fought on that one.
Yeah.
With the postal service, and you know, that's kind of an uphill battle, don't you think? Well, today, you get your mail delivered differently, see, but those days you didn't. Let me step out of the light.
Hey, but these signatures here, was there dances, or when were these people putting their names?
Dancers all the time. You need to look around here. Down there, there's a whole bunch of signatures down there. Hey, there's signatures any place there's a wallboard. I'm going to tell you a story. My mother said full names as well as their faces are seen in various places. These are various places. They're all over.
Where's your name?
Yeah, where's your
I see you up here.
I tell you what. Believe it or not, I usually did what my mother told me, and I don't think my name's in here. If it was, I had it so high and hidden, she couldn't see it. She was serious. She was serious. Just don't write your name on the wall, Francis.
But
Yes, mother.
Would you like it?
that's a dance.
Look down, come on down here. There's a whole bunch. But anyway, a lot of work. We're on our way. And then in the course of this operation, on the bottom, there was a kitchen. Kitchen was an add-on. It was pretty rough, but it served its function okay over the years. Well, we had the kitchen torn off, and what you see is a 2-story arrangement here now, with the understanding there'll be a kitchen on the bottom, and I don't know what all they do here, except the proposal was to put a dumbwaiter in that corner, so that you could cook a meal down below, bring it up here, and have a banquet or whatever. Probably the last functions held in here were some fire department functions where we used to have a yearly appreciation dinner, and usually it was a sit-down dinner, and we would eat up here. Now the caterers didn't appreciate, because they used the front, you didn't have this, didn't appreciate it, and anyway, those days you still had lights before the new roof, before the new truss and ceiling and everything. And so that's its last real use. You realize what we're talking, a lot of work, what the future holds for this building is hard to say, except that downstairs, the fire department uses the building for, there is a meeting room on this side, a large meeting room, a couple of restrooms, post office uses the front, and this side is the secretary, chief's office, and there are several desks for the shift captains so they can sit down and do their paperwork and not have too much interference. They can leave things on their desk and go about it. I think the next thing we should discuss is this little curtain here. Probably made in the 1940s.
And so it was rather exciting when we got into that. What had happened is some iron siding, metal siding. and it was carrying,
But it was really once there was.
because we came back the next.
And of course, this was used for just what you think for.
Carp, this phone number 6, that was the number.
Wow.
Pardon?
Phone number 6 on Placerville
Well,
Hardware.
that's a real hardware.
Single digit.
Yeah. Lord. See,
Hardware that stands hard where.
what happened here were many dances and other things. I chase children, I like to chase rabbits. I graduated from grammar school here. We had combined classes here, and I don't know, what, about 43, huh? 44? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, about 44. Not many kids in school, so they combined the local school. The name of the local school was the Tennessee School of the Tennessee School District. That was rescue school. That wasn't in the Tennessee school. Okay. Down the road where Cameron Park, where the mobile home park is, the adult mobile home park is, right at Cameron and Green Valley, was the Green Valley School. Okay. Go on down to Malcolm Dixon Road, what we used to call the Little Red School, I think colors pretty well go, was Live Oak School. Now we had several others. We had Deer Valley, but Deer Valley wasn't included in this. But we took Tennessee, Green Valley, and Live Oak, 3 schools, put them all together for the grammar school graduation. How many kids? That's easy. I have fingers left. 4 kids graduated from 3 grammar schools. 4. 2 of them from Tennessee, by the way. I think Green Valley that year did not have a graduate, if I remember right. So, but anyway, you know, held the commencement exercises here and whatever, and this had a different curtain early on, and we tried not to raise and lower this one too much. This wasn't popular to do anything with this except look at it. And when we get through with it here on this deal, they're going to roll it back up and leave it up because I think it'll last longer. I tell you what, it's survived remarkably well. Worrell up there in the upper right, second in on the top, Worrell.
Oh, we're out. Got
Worrell was the county supervisor, and he had that little market in the white spot up where, I don't know what saw shop is or something now.
it. Got it.
Yeah.
But I think the saw shop's been gone for about 20 years, but that's okay.
That just proves I'm not getting up there very often.
It proves you don't need your saw sharpened, because when I was looking for it 10 years ago, I was very disappointed that it was no longer there.
Well, we had one in Shingle for years.
Oh, yeah?
I had the one right there in Shingle, which we liked. So don't go any further than you have to.
But the one down there was a real museum. I mean, he had all the old stuff, all the old blades from the sawmills
Yeah.
on the walls and all that. I mean, it was really cool.
Well, Clifton Warren still has but so many changes.
Still the same
Of
place.
course, plus the time went on didn't got too many years ago.
And whoever
Well,
was building took something down and
No, I think probably not up there.
started knowing, because I'd always heard about them.
Some of them changed hands in the new.
Rumsey, the same Rumsey lives over
Yeah,
there.
yeah, only Rumsey.
So you remember, it was
That was hardware downtown. They moved Rumsey. No.
That's
You
Folsom.
said same as ours? No.
No, different
The
house.
hardware in downtown Folsom on Sutter Street. And I think the name Rumsey still exists, but I'm not sure they own it. Folsom Plumbing. Miller Funeral Home is there. Whether the name is still Miller or not, I'm not sure.
Jack Sweeney swore.
That's about it.
Kmart opened. The first
Bonham Feed made a big splash in this country. He delivered to your door in rescue. Well, he got some business, Ken. He would deliver to your door where you were. He got some business.
With horse and buggy.
Pardon?
On a horse and buggy.
Yeah. Well, not quite, but it was almost. Yeah.
Material for this building, all the lumber,
Come on.
was trucked down from Georgetown. And people here, the wings mainly,
Hey, George.
raise hay, haul the hay up to Georgetown with the horse and buggy, and hauled all this wood back down. It's beautiful wood. But that was in the early 19th. early 1890s.
in the Skinner family.
And I'll keep going back to Pearl Wing, because the Wings were heavily involved. RSLS, Rose Springs Literary Society Incorporated. That's why Rescue Fire Department owns it today. Incorporated. What do you do with a nonprofit corporation that has some assets when you choose to dissolve it?
I don't know.
Huh? Well, there are many ways you can do. I'll tell you one way you can do. You can give that to a fire protection district, legally. This was given, the building, the land the firehouse is on, I don't know what, there's an acre and a half or something, was given to the Rescue Fire Protection District. Problem, the hall had reached the point where it needed extensive maintenance. The RSLS and corporation group, everybody died, and who's interested in being a member of a literary society today? It may be nice.
It's a tough sell.
That's what it was. Okay. And they recognized, fire department had rented a room here for an office, and we were looking, by the way, at some BLM land down the road. We were going to try to get some BLM, and we become a tax district, and therefore had the ability to raise some money and pay our bills. Anyway, it was given to us. Oh, there's a whole bunch of little restrictions on it you can't believe. Well, good example. EID water had been put in here on a 10-year payment. We owed about 7 years of EID water. You will pay these bills. Oh, good Lord. I'm writing them down. What do I? Well, there's a refrigerator in there we want to sell. All this stuff went. See, but it was simple and easy. And this was given to the Fire Protection District because they couldn't sell it. If you sell it, the money's got to go to somebody. Who's the money go to?
Yeah.
The members of the incorporation were, old, not interested, tired of it. Shall we say tired of working on this? So you couldn't hold dances here, which was everybody's. That was the source of revenue for making it. And the post office was in here, but they weren't paying much then. Today, post office doesn't make you rich, but at least they pay their way, and they're a good tenant to boot.
So are you going to hold dances here again? I mean,
If we ever got it, I probably won't. Hey, there's time in my life when I'm gone.
never.
I'm in my mid-80s, people. I don't expect to dance on this floor again. But I would like to see it, and I believe it'd be a good idea. If I had told, follow that game.